looking at these like little subtle things and being like, can you believe how crazy that serif is? And everyone's like, I don't see it. But back then I was doing all this really illustrative type work and it was really fun. So these were for two different, I don't know what I was thinking. But super soakers were really big in my childhood. And then Save with Flowers is what's on the wrapping of Anytime I Wait For It. And then I get, oh, ribbed type on a ribbon, awesome! You know, but you can't, you gotta be like sincere and, oh, that's a wonderful idea. No, I haven't done that much lately at all. But I'm glad that it's sort of subsided, it's waned a bit. There's less ribbon type happening right now, which is super rad. I never get to work in really high quality printing stuff. Usually a lot of the stuff that I was doing was for advertising or editorial work. So it's all going in like glossy magazines with like weird non-printing codes, which is crazy. Like if anyone's ever worked on a book, you know that they end up putting like some random quote in Times New Roman right on the cover. And you're like, I hate everything about you. But this one, it was like no logos. I didn't have to put Barnes & Noble logo on it or anything. And then no barcode, they just stuck it as a sticker on top of the book. Dracula and Jane Eyre. So these were just, I actually just do sketches and then kind of draw from them as I'm working. Just because it's the same thing like when you apply to art school and they were like, I know that you didn't draw this tiger from real life. You know? So it's super, super similar. I'll leave it up for a second. No. And then here is the final for Little Women, which did change quite a bit because after I sent the sketch, they were like not into the dress that was on the. So I was asked to be a part of this project called the Lolita cover project, which was started by Merchant Architects, and they asked maybe like 20 or 30 designers to design their own version of the logo. I'm really psyched about it. It makes me want to draw lots of lacy type. Because it took me like 8 hours to do, just sitting at my desk, doodling. It was like being in 8th grade again, drawing people's names and hearts. These tests for the movie, and it was super crazy because I had never worked on a movie before or anything like that. This was like way too cool out of my range of things I ever expected to be hired for. So I was hired actually by the production team. So Molly's a co-producer on the film, Moonrise Kingdom. It actually comes out on May 25th, so really soon. It might already be out here because it premiered at Cannes, so it's premiering in the States on 25th. But anyway, so she hired me, and I did a bunch of tests and got art direction fed from Wes to her to me. And I was super nervous, and they paid me like $300 to do like 3 weeks of work just so that I could like hire me, please, yes, I want to do it, I don't care. Even though like you never, the work for free chart, totally abandoned that for a brief moment. But we finally found ourselves at a place where he was happy with it and I was happy with it. It was from the trailer. I can't show you the actual like beginning of the movie parts yet. But they hired me to do lettering for the beginning of the movie. So it's like all the actors' names and stuff and like focus features, presents and all that kind of jazz and the movie title. And then to do a typeface for the end credits that were to run. So it is obviously drawn. And no one understands that you can actually just draw things. That is a thing that people do, to draw. So people ask all the time what fonts I'm using because they think I'm lazy or something and start with fonts. And I'm like, that's lettering work. And they're like, what's lettering? And I'm like, I can't explain this to you. That's what I'm going to tell the audience right now at a conference in Barcelona. But this haiku for you guys, thought you would like it. Lettering versus calligraphy versus type design. Lettering is drawing and calligraphy is writing. This is something that not a lot of people know the distinction between, but it makes a huge difference in terms of what kind of jobs you do. So the kind of work that I do is lettering and doing stuff, and they're sort of like the rock stars of type design. They're like the David Bowie and, I don't know what else, Mick Jagger of type design. But, most type designers, there are a lot of type designers that do as much work as, so it's been like 3 or 4 years since I've made this typeface, and so every time I'm like, oh. So I decided to make buttercream, which is an update to buttermilk, and I'll be like, giving it a big discount to anyone that bought buttermilk before. But there's some of the uppercase compared to each other between the two, and you can sort of see the maturity in the second one versus the first one, which has some quirkiness in buttermilk, but shorter ascenders in buttercream. It's really fun to design with. So here are some of the examples of the alternates. So some of the letters have up to like 11 different alternates. Like I think the H might have 11 or 12. But it's really fun. It's all, I don't have any typing styluses set so you can't just like turn them on and off because I want people to use the devices like you guys, is that tech designers hate talking about themselves. I try to do a video, like a series of videos, speak for itself, no one should see my face, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to go ahead and credit this typeface, which I've been using throughout the lecture, but it's Harriet. So here's Jackson. He's in his late 20s or early 30s about type and type design. And not just like, I'm a typer. So they have a lot of resources online about learning about type. And I've been kind of going forth and trying to do this a bit on my own in San Francisco by doing a lot of workshops and stuff like that.